Hello everybody, my name is Paul Plummer. Welcome to PXP Endurance. I'm sitting here with Lori today. I want to talk about a process here, rehab process. What I mean by that, we're not going to talk about what we're going to do specifically to her leg and what we've done there specifically, but I want you to understand or have a good feel for what I do or what the PXP philosophy is relative to rehab. So let's start by telling her story. Lori's a runner. She's run several marathons. She recently ran a 50K. Got done, achieved her goal, had a great time, felt great. I felt so good, as a matter of fact, that she really didn't take any time down. We chit-chatted about what was happening and had some encouragement there, but she's feeling great. Kept running, and then one day just had a calf strain. Calf strain significant enough that she had to stop running. She was in a lot of pain, couldn't walk on it. She came in, we looked at it, got sent to a physician, did their evaluation, put her in a boot, and she's been in a boot for a number of weeks. And then she's recently coming out of that boot and she's back here. I'm gonna ask Lori to tell more of her story, from her perspective of what she felt, what she saw, those sort of things, and then we'll catch up with some more.
After my 50K, I was feeling great. I was pumped that I had done something that I'd never done before, and so I was feeling good. And I know that it's important to take time off, but I was encouraged and just kept going. And about a week before this happened, I started to feel some real tightness and stretching in my calf, and took some time just to kind of massage it, but didn't really think much of it, and continued to run and exercise, and had a day where I was out exercising, felt a little tug and massaged it and kept going. And the next step, I heard a pop, felt a pop, excruciating pain and burning, and ended up on the ground. I did see a physician, and he put me in a boot. For the first 2 weeks I was in that boot 24/7. I'm now trying to wean out of the boot, and I'm having some good success, but I'm not good at taking steps backwards, and I'm sore today from working it hard. And I'm here today with Paul to try to just talk through what this soreness is, and am I really taking a step back, or is this part of the process? And so here we are.
Yeah. So thank you. There's a lot to unpack in there, and some things that maybe you can relate with. Let's go back a little bit. She gets done with the race, and she's got some tightness in a calf. Okay, how's she going to interpret that? How should we interpret that? Sometimes it's, I just got done running a 50K, so of course I'm going to be tight. But the tightness was in one calf, and it was there, and so sometimes that's an indicator of, oh, I need to have some time down. But most of us, when we get done with that event or that run, we're feeling so good, and we want to keep going. We don't want to stop because we don't want to lose fitness or some motivator, and we keep pushing through. Hindsight being 20/20, we can look back and say, here's what you should have done. And usually that's what happens, right? We get hurt, and then we go, I should have done this, I knew that. It would be nicer. I think you would love this a lot more if during that time you'd taken a couple days down, and only had a couple days down and continue things, and we don't have to deal with this for that 4, 6, 8 weeks perhaps of getting back on this piece. But it is what it is right now. The piece that I'd like you to grab, and some of us endurance athletes, we fight that battle. Is this something that we need to take a day rest on, or are we just being soft and it's something we should run through? That's an important piece that I want to talk to each of you about if we're doing rehab, helping explain some of those things. And then the other piece she's talking about is she's been in the boot for a while. She's been allowed to come out of that boot, weaning out of it. She's been out of the boot for 2 days. Today she's really sore, so what should she do? Should she go back to the boot because it feels like we're taking a step backwards? But just like in your training, you've got 10 miles on your training plan today, but you don't feel good. Your calf is tight, or your whatever is going on. Should you take a day rest, or should you push through that? During your training, we'd say take a day rest perhaps. And in this rehab phase, in this rehab stage, going back in the boot's really not taking a step back, it's giving it a chance to catch up. That pain, that discomfort is really an opportunity telling us, communicating to us that we need to take some recovery. And one of the ways we recover is go back in the boot. And maybe we're there for a day, maybe we're there for maybe part of a day, come back in a few hours, whatever that would be. But that process, it's tough to deal with. It's tough to know what the right thing is. Are you being too soft? Are you being too aggressive? Are you making the right decisions? That's part of what I want to share with you of what we do with the rehab process here, or what I want to do with the rehab process is help educate on all those things. Hopefully they prevent things, they don't ever happen again. But as we're going through these things, sometimes we just need some extra guidance, whether it's translating messages from the physicians, or maybe it's getting a clearer understanding of what's really going on, or having a better understanding of what you should do out there as you're walking or jogging, going up and down stairs. How is that going to affect that body part and that healing? I really think the education piece of rehab is one of the more critical things that we offer here. We're not going to get into exactly what we're going to do on her specific rehab pieces. I think that's a mistake that many people do. They try to say, if you have a calf strain, you should do X. It varies on body part and on individuals of what those things are. There's certainly some consistencies that you should work on with all those flexibility, strength, progressing yourself back to the activity. But I don't want to cloud the message of things by getting into those details, and I don't want to share what's going on with that. But it's more important to me that you understand, or that we share pieces here of process. That's the more important pieces.
And one of the things that I have learned is, just because the physician might tell me that I should be running again in 2 weeks, that may not be true for me.
Yeah.
And so I have this idea in my mind that I should be running in the next 2 weeks, but yet this is telling me that
It's not quite ready yet.
it's not quite ready.
Yeah, and that's, and they're not trying to tell you bad things, right?
Right.
They're trying to predict pieces, and then every body progresses at their own rate in those pieces. Thank you for watching. The tagline, or our tagline of "Your Goals for Success" is not an accident. We want to be able to meet you where you're at, whether you're preventing something, or whether we're dealing with a rehab, or whether we're coming back from an injury acutely or chronically. We want to meet you where you're at and help you walk forward and accomplish those goals. Thank you again, and look forward to meeting you sometime.